Alright, well, putting the motor back together in the Paseo, we've got the power steering belt back on and the alternator belt. No, that's fine, it's not that loud. And then the alternator belt's back on. I still have to tighten up the alternator bolt. It's on the back right here. It looks like a 10.
You can take it.
Yeah, I think it's a 10 to tighten it up. Now the power steering has 2 bolts that hold the bracket on. One that goes through long ways, one here and another one there. Now I was supposed to have a 3rd bolt or a 4th bolt right here, but I'm missing it in the bucket of bolts that I was given with the car. So we're just gonna put those 2 in it for now, and the tension of the belt should pull it this way, and it'll be okay for now. So needless to say, this is how it's gonna work. So tighten that one down, tighten those 2 that I have in there down. The bottom one on the pump itself is tightened down. I had to use a Shortwell 14 and drop the ratchet down through here and get my hand behind it like this to ratchet, and that was with the radiator out. Maybe there's an easier way, I couldn't figure it out. The alternator belt slipped on first, power steering second. The power steering also controls the AC compressor, and the alternator has a pulley that it rides across the top of that you can't really see, but there's a pulley underneath this motor mount that's a tensioner pulley type deal. It's got to be tightened up. More fuckery I've noticed is that these fuel lines are like, they got this zip tie on them for an unknown reason. I also found more vacuum lines, a little melted and tweaked, in the bucket of parts. And I removed the fan from the radiator so I can set the radiator down in here to get to, and then get to all the hoses that go on the bottom a little bit easier. So let's start putting the lines on. Now, assuming the way these transmission cooler lines are hanging, this one goes to this side, this one goes to that side. It could be crossed. I figure as long as fluid's going through it, it doesn't care which way it goes. I'm probably completely wrong and someone's gonna hate me, but it's my car, so if I blow it up, it's my fault. So let's shove that one on there. I'll get some clamps to tighten that up. These have bolts in them trying to hold some of the transmission fluid in, although I checked the dipstick a minute ago and it's pretty much empty, so we will be running to get transmission fluid before it gets to move. So I'm going to throw all those hoses on, tighten them down, put some water in it. We'll see if it'll start and charge the battery and what happens from there. So on more Paseo adventures, it was Paseo. It was leaking severe amounts of oil from behind the cam pulley. So I decided we were just going to replace the seal. But there's not one. Yeah, there was no camshaft seal. So I dug through the trunk, and however I found, apparently, I'm guessing, the old camshaft seal. So we are going to reinstall a new camshaft seal in the big bag of parts. Ta-da! So, camshaft seal. Let's put it in. Hi guys. We're back with the Paseo. This is what I've determined so far. Last night I had to put a cam seal in it. When the previous owner reinstalled the head, they did not install a cam seal. So back behind there is the brand new cam seal. It appears to have stopped the oil leak completely. The vacuum lines I took care of. He said he couldn't figure them out. He didn't know what it was. That he figured that was part of the idle issue. The cool thing is Toyota labels everything right here to where they need to go. P, R, Q. Over here, these hoses are numbered on the white piece. On the white tape right there, it tells you a corresponding number to run them to over here. And then he had the cold air idle hooked up to something. I don't even remember what. But this is just where it warms it up. It pushes this little rod down right here onto the throttle, and I'm not getting quite enough vacuum to it to open it up all the way so that it lets it idle at full warm. So I have to adjust that. And then this crankcase breather was broke. And a cool fun fact, if crankcase breathers are broke, it over vacuums the system and over vacuums the system and over revs the engine. So I've got that little piece of damp cardboard underneath it from the spark plug packaged to stop the airflow until I can get a new valve because it's broken. Only issue with it so far, it's not skipping or nothing, but look, it's got a little bit of milky residue in the very end of the cap. But the dipstick is clean, so I don't believe it to be a head gasket failure. I think it's where the head was removed to change the motor, or change the valve, and coolant and oil mixed and got through the motor. Even if you change the oil after this, usually some of it can still come back within the next couple of days of driving. So we're going to see if we can get that to flush out, because it's not skipping. However, it is still smoking. But then again, when you remove a head and all that crap goes down through the motor, it gets into your catalytic converter and it can take a few days to burn off. The CRV, the 99 Honda CRV that we replaced the head in, it was the same way. It had all run down the exhaust and gotten into the catalytic converter, and it smoked white smoke for quite a few days after that, but it was not leaking. And Daddy's in there putting a 305 in a Chevy, so I apologize for the noise. But this is what we've got so far. It's pretty much all buttoned up back together. I've got to tighten up a few transmission pan bolts and top off the tranny fluid. But this is what we've got. (15 to about 1800 RPM warm). It'll drop to about...
You ain't got no antifreeze, do you?
No, sir. I've been...
You got any? I didn't use that mine.
But it'll drop to about 15, and then once I get the vacuum pressure fixed with that, it'll drop it some more to about right there, which should be a hair over 1,000, which is fine for me. So with the rain starting to pick up, so I've been trying to work quickly. There's probably some on the camera, I apologize. And then this is the smoke we've got that's left. It is a cold day out here. This also could be from the warm engine. My other Corolla smokes like that every time it's cold. But if you look at the temperature gauge, we are completely within normal operating range. It's not building a lot of pressure, but I don't want too much either. And the heat, I know you can't feel it, but it is nice and warm. So I do believe that this has solved our issues with the Paseo. Like I said, the vacuum lines are now all done right. Cam seal is in. I had to make a new bracket for the fuel rail. He had broken off one of the bolts on the fuel rail to hold it down. I've got that situated. I've got to get the proper inlet fitting for this, and also a new tube that is split right here. I put the shields back on, the covers back on. It doesn't seem to run too bad. So we'll probably give it a full motor flush with an oil change. Change the timing belt and the water pump. I'll probably clean out the oil filter pickup tube while I've got the pan off, because I'm going to put a pan gasket on it. And then this little guy should be ready to hit the road. I can't really see much else to do. Like I said, I've got to get the fluid in the transmission and drive it to make sure it's okay. But being the overdrive automatic, I think it'll be just fine. Those aren't really the ones that go bad. The Toyota 3-speeds go bad a lot. They have a third member in the transmission that everybody forgets about. It's got a separate reservoir. But the smoke is slowly dwindling away, so I think this one's going to be a survivor. Check that temperature hand again. It hasn't gone up anymore. Like I said, the idle's at about 15, which is a lot lower than it was. Once I get that valve fixed and get enough vacuum pressure on it to pull the actuator up, it should idle itself down to right at 1 grand, which is okay for me. So thanks for watching, everybody. Go like this video at the bottom if you like this old Paseo. Stay tuned for more videos to come on this guy. our next step is going to be finding a headlight, a corner light, and a matching set of wheels. I'm not sure what kind of wheels we're going to put on it yet, but we'll make it look good. And then we're going to throw a coat of paint on it. And I know I've already cleaned the interior, but we're going to detail it. While it is clean now and touchable, you can still use the detailing. So we'll be detailing this interior inside and out once again. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome. Subscribe as always. And give a thumbs up. A like at the bottom. The Paseo will live on.